Alright everyone, in the previous video we discovered that there was a problem that after the wizard had vanished into his hat and was theoretically finished, he would get up again to say ouch, kind of make his hat jump off his head whenever the ghost came in and harangued him. So we want to fix that. Once he disappeared into his hat, we want him to kind of just stay in his hat. He's dead, he's done, he's finished. He doesn't do anything after that. Now there are a couple of ways to do this. The essential problem is this. What's happening is we have a check for damage loop here, and what it does is it runs this take damage function, and take damage just checks two things. It checks that the ghost is touching the wizard and the ghost is visible. And if both those things are true, then it changes the health by -1 and it sets off this animation. Now, we could just get rid of the animation on its own by putting a condition around it. We could say, well, if the wizard isn't already dead, then do the animation. But I think it's better to kind of handle it further up and say, well, wait a minute, maybe you shouldn't do any of this unless the wizard is, if the wizard is dead, it shouldn't do anything. So that this changing health by -1, we should probably put a stop to that as well. I mean, why should it keep going into the minuses? That doesn't really make any sense. Minus health doesn't make any sense. So it's better to do it up here. But once we kind of come to this problem, once we come to address this problem, we realize there are a bunch of ways of doing it. And there's some decision to be made about which one's the best. So here's one way we could do it. We could put an if here. And then we could say, if health is greater than 0, then do this. Right? And the problem with this is it's a double if, so it's a little bit difficult to read. So if health is greater than 0, so if the wizard isn't dead yet, then if he's touching the ghost and the ghost is visible, then it's kind of a double if then. And that can be hard to understand, but that would work. A different possibility, which sometimes is better, it really depends upon how you feel about these things, is to do a triple and. So we grab the and here, and then we grab this and we make it the first of these. And then that gives us a slot for another thing here, which we will put in something like health is greater than 0. So now, before doing all that stuff, it would check if you're touching ghost and the ghost is visible and your health is greater than 0, then do all the stuff where you take damage and you do a little animation. So that's the second way you could do it. And like I say, a lot of this is down to personal taste. Here's a third way to do it, which might look a little bit more complex, but I think ends up with cleaner code. I could go to this function here, check for damage, and I could conditionalize take damage. So I'll show you what I mean. I grab an if then, and I put it so that so now it's doing this loop and it says if your health is less than 1, just grab the less than, go to variables to grab health, drop it in there. Okay, so now what will happen is it won't run this sequence over here on the right unless health is less than 1. Sorry, this should be greater than. I'm sorry about that. It should be greater than 0. So let's try that again. So if health is greater than 0. So I was doing it if you're dead, which I should be doing if you're alive. So if health is greater than 0, then it's going to run this. So if you're alive, then take damage. What's that? Well, if you're touching ghost and the ghost is visible, then change health by -1, animate ouch. And so what this should do is it should make sure that you only take damage at all, so your score only goes down if you're alive, so it shouldn't go past 0 anymore. And it should stop. It should block the animation because the animation only happens here. Okay, so let's try this out. Go to full screen or a bigger screen. Just going to let the wizard die. 1, 0, collapses into his hat, and stays there. Okay. So for some reason, he's still getting up when I hit the cursor keys. So I'll fix that in the next video. Thank you for listening, and if you find this video useful, please hit like and subscribe.